Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well as the like button and check the description box for today's topics. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. Excited. Monumental episode today, episode 100. How are you feeling,
Yes,
dude?
sir.
100 episodes in, just me and you. Technically, it's like 110 with the interviews, but how do you feel about the 100 episodes in?
I feel good. I think I'm proud that we made it this far. I know everyone in their family wants to start a podcast, and a lot of people do, but I don't think a lot of people make it this far, especially if they're not profiting thousands of dollars off of it. And we are making a decent amount of change here and there, but at the same time, like we have a lot more to grow, but we've grown a lot, so I'm very proud of us.
Yeah, dude, I remember when we were first trying to figure this out, when I came to California actually to visit you, and like we were even we didn't even put this shit out, but we had like 8 episodes like ready to go. And it's like, when do we put this out? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like, what do we the topics no longer make sense and we fucking wait forever. So to come from that to doing this every single week to getting dope artists to come on has been phenomenal. And then, dude, I know we set goals for ourselves. As you guys know, we want to get to 5,000 subs this year by the end of the year. But even 100 episodes ago, 2.5 years ago, dude, we had no one listening, no subscribers. So to go from 0 in 100 episodes to 2,200 and change is still pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, I'm fully agree with that. And it is funny how, just certain things with our process evolved over time. Like I was earlier before we hopped on, I was looking at some of the older episodes. I'm like, the audio is kind of off. Like I look like an ant in this one. The thumbnails like that I was creating look like garbage, at least in my opinion, compared to what we're doing now. And I think our flow obviously evolved. So I think it's exciting that we get to also look at it and look back. And it wasn't even that long ago in the grand scheme of things either.
Dude, not at all, bro. Like, not at all. I did we started the end of 2019 going into 2020.
Yep.
So, bro, that was, fuck, man, that was not long ago at all. And dude, the simple fact that, not to get sad, but we could shut the shit down when COVID hit. You know, like my mom passed, that was like the first time we ever skipped an episode at that point. And then COVID happened bad a day later. So I'm like, let's just fall back. But what's crazy, I really think, we said this with a lot of other things. People try to find a craft to do. It was cool that I feel during the pandemic at the heart of it, because people say it's still going on, people say it's not. But at the heart of it, we were really all right, how can we make this shit better? And that's why I feel the visuals got better. We had a couple of videos go viral. I started learning how to edit the pod. It was a lot of things that we did at the heart of this shit where we could have been fuck this, bro. What's the point of this? It was cool that we kept it going at a time that we could have just put let's just find something else to do. Yeah.
And I think one other thing we brought up that was interesting was during the pandemic, all of the broadcasters and podcasts that did their stuff in person, all of a sudden we're doing it the way that we were doing it.
Yeah.
And it felt weird at first because at first we were we're long distance, but we'll make it work. Maybe it'll look off or whatever. And then it looked like the normal way to do this shit. As soon as we started doing it a lot.
That's a great point. Because I remember, I don't know if we said this out loud, but some of those doubts you have, we don't look very professional. We don't have a studio. Even if we record together, we can't be in the same room. It's bro, everyone has started having to do it the way we've been doing it since the beginning. So that was dope.
Yeah, it was a blessing in disguise. And it's also dope that we have on record, our emotions captured during that pandemic, which we may have never captured if we weren't doing the podcast at all.
Yo, facts, bro. That's probably honestly what kept us as sane as we could be. Because think about it, bro, a lot of people just didn't have anyone to talk to anymore. So worst case scenario, I have an hour and a half every week that I can get all my thoughts out. You know what I mean? I'll get everything out, dude. And think about it, in that time, the world's crumbling. I lost a loved one. You lost a loved one. You got engaged. It was everything in the fucking world, bro. So I'm glad we have all that shit on wax that, fast forward 15 years, whatever platform is around, you can find our shit somewhere.
Yeah, 100%. And for the longest time, I've always kind of felt this urge to keep track of my thoughts and like have a diary and stuff, growing up at least. But I was
Sure.
always too lazy to sit down and write it. And then I found myself kind of not being as candid as I should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, I want this to look good later. Whereas with this, I feel like we kind of just express our thoughts in the moment. We're not thinking too hard about how it sounds or anything. I feel like it's a lot more natural and candid. So I'm glad that this format is not only for entertainment purposes for our listeners and everything, but it's also a way for us to keep a record of our life and like how we've grown over time.
Dude, 100%, dude, 100%. And like, yeah, man, it's also like, I'm glad it's the two of us because it doesn't feel like either one of us has to carry too much weight. It's not like, you know, like it's always both of us, either you got it 1 week with the editing, or we're both going to come up with the topics, or one of us is going to reach out for an artist to hop on the pod. So that's been beneficial, right? Because I mean, you got your own shit going on. I got my own shit going on. We have side business we're trying to start. You're trying to, you know, relaunch your career with hip hop. Like there's so many things that could happen. So at least like, it's nice to know like, yo, I'm not also doing this by myself, right? Whereas the other things like we're doing it alone because like we don't want to do it, but like this could be like a burden if it's just like, dude, fuck, why is it always me doing this shit?
Right. Yeah. And I think you mentioned to that me at Coachella when I vividly remember we were on the way driving and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to do like some sort of hip hop channel, maybe something similar to like academics or whatever.
Right.
But I was like, I a couple of times I sat down and I'm like, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to talk to myself for like half an hour. And you were like, yo, same thing with yours. I think you said,
yeah, dude, I did 20 episodes. We couldn't do it anymore, bro. It was, hey, and mine was good to be, if anyone haven't checked it out, absolutely fucking not. The podcast is still up on all platforms. But dude, that's like, dude, it was an hour and a half every episode. I did have like friends and family hop on for random episodes. But like, dude, like most times it was just me talking about real millennial introvert emotions, bro. That shit was taxing, man. Like, I'm pretty sure I have like 3 episodes where I'm legit just like bawling in tears. So like, imagine having like the idea of having to do that for like another 80 episodes alone. Dude, that sounds fucking awful. You know what I mean?
Right. I know. And literally every single week, even before the podcast, there would be so many things that I wanted to talk about that we ended up talking about on Instagram anyways. And we were just like, why don't we do it in this format?
100%.
And every single week there just so happens to be stuff that we can talk about. Like there hasn't been 1 week where we're like, there's absolutely nothing going on.
And dude, but the funny thing, I feel like we have had those weeks where like, damn, it was a slow week. This episode might be like 30 minutes. And those episodes end up being like an hour and a half. Like,
right. Like, yeah. I know. It's crazy.
So obviously, I mean, we do the clips. So like, I'm not even worried about this part of the intro going a little bit longer. So what has been like your top like highlight of this 100 episode ride thus far?
Top highlight? It's tough to say that the very, very top, but I think for me, one of the more like a couple pivotal moments that came to mind that made me really feel like this was going somewhere was one when Pete Leroy's DJ Han commented and we found out he was fucking with the podcast on Instagram.
Yeah,
I think that was a really exciting moment that happened during the pandemic. And I think the other thing was the Just Adam interview. I was nervous as hell before because I had never really interviewed anyone.
Right.
He was an artist that did have like a buzz and solid music. So on top of all of that, I was just in my head like, yo, I can't fuck this up, make him look bad, make us look bad. And after that interview, I was just like super proud of us. Excited that you found him, excited with all the questions we asked, how natural we sounded and looked. For me, that was like the moment where I was like, okay, we're growing and doing something new and providing value that other outlets aren't necessarily providing. It's not just like the Cardi B gossip story or some shit. It's we're finding undiscovered talent.
Not even 15, the 1500th person talking about some shit. Yeah. I agree with that, dude. For me, a couple of my top moments, dude, I think like when the traction started, not even like when we had that like random burst where it was like, dude, like why the fuck do we have so many subs out of nowhere, right? That was fun, but that wasn't a peak because again, then we would have peaked already at that point. For me, it was like, dude, when we start having videos that like get all these comments, good or bad, I'm like, I've always said, like, dude, I'm just grateful people are talking about us, right? Like to take the time to watch a YouTube clip, that to go in the comments and like to go back and forth with other people in the like when people who are making comments go back and forth with each other, I'm like, oh, this is phenomenal. You just made a piece of content that's worth people to like not waste their time, but like take the time out of their day to do. So that was a dope moment for me because I'm like, bro, like we're literally like, I remember that VIP, like the Kevin Samuel one that we had like the most back and forths. Dude, you and I were at a fucking comedy show just enjoying our life. And then all this is happening. It's helping garner more attention to the pod. Like that was dope. Like I feel like in that moment, it felt like almost like a way of like passive income. Like we did the work, we walked away, and this shit's just like making itself happen. So that was a cool experience for me. And then I did the same. Like I think not any one interview, but the fact that it wasn't as hard to get people to come on and share their story with us. Which I thought it would be. I thought we'd be begging people. Yeah. Fuck, dude. Honestly, at some point, though, we're going to have to start paying people to hop on this shit. And the simple fact that, like, they saw our content, they see how we do our shit with the IG stuff and YouTube, and they're like, yeah, absolutely. Like, that was honestly, like, a nice push in the right direction, bro. Because, again, we could always get in our heads. I'm sure we all get in our heads about anything, even if you're the best at it. But that was cool that it was just like, yo, we would love to have you in the pod. Fans of your stuff, and they're like, yeah, dude, when can I hop on? I'm like, oh wow, this is much easier than I thought it'd be.
Right. No, I agree with all of that. I think also what was impeccable was the timing too, because in all honesty, I'm not sure if we would have gotten some of those interviews if we had asked on episode 11 or some shit where like the quality wasn't as good. Maybe we weren't even nearly as confident. Whereas by the time we did Just Adam as our first, I don't know, we might have had like 65, 70 episodes or something.
We were up there,
Yeah. And like everything just felt more professional and natural. So it's funny how like all that kind of, worked together.
Yeah, like honestly, like, that's not corny, but sometimes like the universe and God knows like, yo, you're not ready for that. Or let me not put that in your life just yet because, bro, like we could have fumbled that bag like that. Like he probably could have said yes because he's trying to get on, but like, it could have been bad, bro. Like it could have been really bad. Like,
right.
I got, cause like, if you guys don't know, like, so when we first started, I didn't wear headphones. So dude, the sound quality was horrendous because you would hear everything that Blair was saying. And then it was just a fucking shit show. So so I think we've tweaked little things here and there over time. Internet connection's finally better. I was telling Blair offline that I finally got a connector upstairs. So like, again, we're doing things to ensure that this pod is a better experience for all. Bro, I'm excited for the future, man. We got a ton going on. I think we'll figure out a way to get more in the TikTok realm as like things, go in that direction. And I'm excited for the guests that we're gonna host, over the coming months.
For sure. Yeah, and I think the guests that we continue to get all have like very different stories. So I think that's another great thing is not only have we been able to get people to have interest in coming on, but they're people with actual talent and stories. It's not some like random dude with 20 followers on SoundCloud who just wants to look cool. Like these people are serious about their craft.
Agreed, dude. Agreed. Yeah, I'm grateful that we haven't been to the point where like, dude, just come on because you have one song. It's like, we really fuck with this. We're excited to hear more, and it can only help everyone involved. So, dude, plenty more to come. You guys can see we're still rocking the merch. We've had this for, I would say, a good 4 or 5 months now, bro. Like this shit really is like good. Like this black is still black as fuck. So like I love that like it still like looks like fucking fresh.
Like, do you hang dry it or you put it in a dryer?
Oh yeah, dude. I never dry this shit.
Okay.
Like, I also don't dry any of my clothes. Like it's all hang dry. That's like workout shit. So yeah, bro. But I've washed this like 4 times, and this black is still like very, very dark.
Got it. Yeah, I unfortunately didn't learn that until I was much older. When I was a kid, I would always get so angry because obviously my mom would do my laundry, and I would buy a black shirt, and the shit would be like white, like within 10 months from getting washed so much. And I'm just like, how does this happen? How do I stop it? And then I was like, you just hang dry the motherfucker and it won't fade.
Yeah. Dude, I've always been that way because, dude, like I would like get a nice, the same thing. I would get a nice like t-shirt or something. And it's like, dude, first of all, like, why is it like, again, it's visibly, when the shit shrinks a little bit on an average person, it's very obvious on my tall ass body. So I'm like, bro, this is wrong. Like, this shouldn't be happening. So, but yeah, guys, the merch is up. It was actually another pretty cool moment, bro, is like, yes, we obviously post this stuff in our stories, and obviously people who follow us are other fans or family and friends. But dude, even today in the office, like, I go to the office every Tuesday and Thursday, like a couple people were wearing hoodies. And I was like, yo, that's fucking dope. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't tell you to buy that. You just wanted to support it. And the fact that you're walking around and maybe someone asks you what that is, like, that's another pretty dope experience. So again, shout out to everyone buying the merch. Keep doing it. Again, we saw the original stuff up with the crew necks. We'll come out with some stuff for the spring and summer soon.
For sure.
Awesome. Just getting to the episode 100. Real quick before we hop into a bunch of fucking topics over Super Bowl weekend. Dude, obviously the wedding is 2 weeks away now. Do you guys do anything for Valentine's Day? Is it just like, bro, we don't have time for this shit right now? Like, how does that work?
More so the latter. So we technically became official on Valentine's Day, but we thought it was kind of corny and just not special if we literally like celebrated our anniversary on that day, because everyone else celebrates it that day. So why would it be special for us?
Everyone celebrates Valentine's that day or their anniversary that day?
Valentine's Day that day. It'd almost be like having your birthday on Christmas. Like, it just takes away the shine.
You know very much like about like it's a weird time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm just low key salty about it. But yeah, we don't typically celebrate it. A couple of times we tried to celebrate on the day, and then there's fucking a 2-hour wait at every restaurant and this and that. So it's just, we kind of play it by ear each year, but we usually do like our anniversary is January 14th. So we usually do like a mini getaway then, and then Valentine's Day, if we get around to it, we'll do something, but it's not up there for us, at least at this point. I mean, I feel like once you're together for like 10 plus years, the day becomes a little less like, oh, like what's she gonna do for me, or what am I gonna do for him kind of day.
So was this year though just basically you guys just vibing out together and just planning for the wedding? Yeah,
essentially, like that's all the last minute wedding shit is like consuming us this week.
I bet we're close to, bro. So if we, knock on wood, things keep getting smoother. Dude, but it's funny. It's not the opposite for me and my girl, but the thing is that I was already talking to Gina around Valentine's Day and like at the beginning of February last year, and I asked her out on a date on Valentine's Day, and she's like, well, I'm only gonna go on a date with you if I'm your girlfriend. So like it ended up being that like this time is always now our anniversary and also Valentine's Day. So
got it. But is it on the actual day?
No. It was on Friday. I asked her out literally a week before. So our anniversary is February 7th. Got it. So yeah, but she was traveling, so we ended up doing like the entire this past weekend, like Valentine's / anniversary, which was a vibe, bro. Like, dude, I'm gonna take you to a restaurant when you come next down here, bro. Hole in the wall, but the best food I've ever personally paid for. Like, I've gone to some pretty expensive places with my mom, and like she obviously like we were decently well off as growing up, but like, bro, this was insane, bro. Like the menu looks so like weird that you're like, bro, just bring whatever. Bro, the best food I've ever had in my life. Like it's not even close, dude.
What kind of food is it?
It's essentially like small plates, Italian fusion.
Were you gonna say tapas?
I was gonna say tapas, but like that's Spanish, so it's like small plates. So like every order is one plate and you just share it for like you and your partner. But bro, like the first meal was like a fried polenta balls with like mushroom drizzle on top. Insane.
Damn, that sounds
I had
fire.
Beef tartare for the first time in my life. And I always remember like my friend's dad ordering it. And I'm like, bro, you're eating raw beef? Are you fucking insane? Bro, I had this shit with the seasoning they added. I was like, bro, wild. And the best thing I had on the menu though was, dude, on the menu, it just says potato skins. And I'm like, well, let me try this, bro.
Like Doritos or some shit.
Well, that's what I didn't think that, but like something just basic, bro. Like a fucking baked potato cut in half. Like, there you go. So, bro, it was a potato wedge with melted cheese on it, then creme fraiche on top, then caviar on top. Bro.
That sounds fancy as fuck.
Bro, everything was fancy as fuck. Like, it was fancy as shit. And the only reason, first of all, reservation, they just won #1 restaurant in Miami in 2021. Right? So reservations are out the ass. Like, you cannot make a reservation going into almost like it's February. There's no tables actually open until like fucking May right now, right? So we took a chance. We're like, bro, it's Friday. We'll get there at 7 o'clock. We'll get there early. Dude, the only reason we got a seat at the bar is because it was pouring. Because otherwise, at 5:30 when they open the door, they have a line out the door for walk-ins. And
oh, wow.
At that point, they can't rush anyone out. They're like, yo, you sit for as long as you want. Just make sure you order food. So, yeah, dude, it worked out. We got a great spot at the bar, 2 bottles of wine. I mean, a 6-course meal. Like, bro, insane, dude. So, yeah, I'll definitely take you. Like, if we hit 5,000 subs by then, bro, we're gonna charge it to the Audio Theory credit card. Because like, this shit has to be like a write-off, bro.
Yeah, I'm hungry now. Yeah, I'm down
it was
for that.
bomb, bro.
Sure.
I'll show you some pictures, bro. It was insane. Literally the best food I ever had in my life. So
wow.
But yeah, so I had a dope weekend, man. No, can't complain. We finally got some sun. It's been fucking terrible weather here. So we went to the beach on Saturday. So yeah, bro, super grateful. Great Valentine's, and again, can't wait to do more stuff with you guys in, dude, honest, a couple weeks. It's crazy.
Nice, man. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome, my G. Well, let's get into it. Episode 100. We'll think of a fun title afterwards. But, dude, the biggest thing, we'll do everything around the Super Bowl. But the Super Bowl halftime show, I really think, stole the weekend. So your thoughts, we were going to talk about this, we talked about last time, but your thoughts on the actual performance, the display, everything. Like, what were your thoughts on those, I think, 18 minutes?
Yeah, I thought the performance was amazing. Literally exactly what I expected. Didn't expect any more or less. Well, I didn't expect 50 Cent.
Dude, neither did I. And I don't know to cut you off, but it's wild how all my boys expect that to happen. I was like, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah,
in
retrospect.
In retrospect, right? They're part of Shady Records. But you would have thought they would have announced it. I didn't, for some reason, because there's so many people they announced, those 5 people. I'm like, bro, there's no time for cameos. When the fuck is that threw me off. But they're like, yo, dude, I literally have a text from a boy from a week ago saying, I guarantee you 50 comes out. And I'm like, why? You know what I mean? So that, to go back to what you're saying. But yeah, I thought that was for me, the best part of the show.
Yeah, same. I think that was the highlight because I wasn't expecting it. Maybe it has to do with the element of surprise came from the fact that it was an LA themed kind of lineup, even though Mary J and Eminem aren't from LA. At least I don't think Mary J is. She's from New York, right? Or something.
Yeah,
she's from
New
York. But yeah, that was the highlight for me. I thought the choreography and just overall setup was super dope. I think the only thing that was weird for me is it just made me feel really old because of course there's the memes about 50 looking out of shape. I think Dr. Dre even looked like he had a beer belly going on of some sort. Snoop's got gray hair.
I think Dr. Dre is jacked, so I don't think he has a beer belly. But there's also that meme where anyone over 30, when you're that jacked his jeans were very tight.
Yeah.
So it was very hard for him to move it. Yeah.
But I feel when you I knew 50 Cent when he gets older, all that muscle is going to turn into straight just chunk.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem is he's always been a pretty chunky dude, but I feel when you get older, I'm no nutritionist or fitness expert, but I feel if you're that bulky of a person like Sylvester Stallone type, you just look like just a big piece of meat walking around.
And you have to stay in that shape. You have to be in the gym. He's I mean, I don't know his fucking regimen, but I can take a guess he's not in the gym 5 times a week.
Right. And also what's interesting is I think this is the first time where he's the one getting teased and bullied by everybody. He's always been the bully.
He's running with it, bro. He's been posting,
but he has no choice.
Bro, troll me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Because if he came across salty, it would just make him look like a spoiled brat.
Yeah. It would make people think about the 50 Cent, when he was getting weird with Jada Kiss and Rich Bros. Bro, come on, bro, it's a joke. Calm down.
Right.
I'm glad he is playing it off like a good sport. So, what was your favorite performance still out of like the 6?
My favorite performance, I mean, I'd say probably the Still Dre when that came on. I think that one got me the most hype. But everything was pretty dope overall. I don't think there was any one standout song where I was like, oh my God, like this is the one. I think it was just like one long, continuous, good performance for me when I was watching it.
Yeah, so I agree with that. So for me though, like even though the 50 Cent moment stole the show for me, because again, dude, you're not gonna find a bigger G Unit fan. Like if I could do G Unit trivia night, I'd be the richest guy in the world because I ain't getting shit wrong. But the only reason why that didn't make it like the moment for me is because his mic was not all the way up. Like I don't know if you realize that, like he was like rapping his ass off, and you could barely kind of hear it. So. That's what fucked it up for me. For me, dude, honestly, Kendrick was that performance was sick.
Oh shit, I almost forgot about Kendrick.
Yeah, dude, with the Dre Day boxes, and then everyone came. That whole setup was wild, though. So I think when he did Be All Right, I texted you immediately, like, I told you, bro, I had it, buddy.
Yeah, that's like the perfect event for a song like that. The perfect
event, dude. And we haven't seen him in since COVID, like thinking about like this pod, like we really, besides a couple features on Baby Keem shit, like we haven't heard anything. So I think that was a dope moment. What did you think about the whole Eminem kneeling and like out of respect to Colin Kaepernick?
Honestly, when he did that, I didn't even think anything of it. I was like, first of all, I was like, that shit seemed like so far in the past. It wasn't even top of mind. And then two, I'm like, I thought it was just one of those, you know, how like boy bands at the end of their performance, like kneel and do the little superhero pose and shit. That's what I thought it was. Like he was just doing like a cool pose at the end. And then I saw all the headlines. I'm like, oh, like I wasn't overthinking this shit. Like,
yeah, I do same. I did not in the moment think anything of it. I was just like, I thought this is the end of your song, and you're waiting for the camera to move off you to someone else before you stood up. Like that's what I thought, dude. So yeah. But dude, overall, I thought Mary J. Blige was great. Like for her, I was like, what songs are you gonna fucking play? Like I don't know how this time, but dude, the songs she picks were fire, and then, dude, I guess a lot of people it's going viral because like Jay-Z was rapping his ass off to Still Dre, and then people are learning now that he wrote that entire song. So
oh wow, they just realized
they're just that's just like a thing now. So yeah, dude, I thought it was a dope moment. Honestly, the game itself was trash to me. Like it was just like it wasn't very.
The game was whatever.
Yeah, but at least again, I was relatively sober the entire time, so I was more in for the commercials. But yeah, the halftime show was great. But yeah, it's funny how like when we were growing up and we would see like the Rolling Stones, we're like, yo, why the fuck are these old people on it? And now we're like, yo, and they're like, oh fuck, we're the old people. Like
right. You know what went through my head, like especially when the performers are like people who maybe the baby boomers aren't really too familiar with or whatever. The whole time, especially in this climate, I was thinking to myself, what are like the ultra conservative like white people who are watching all this shit, what's going through their head right now? Are they like so confused trying to process this, like everything from the crip walking to like in the club, like if they've even heard that before and are wondering why everyone's going so crazy? I'm just very curious what was going through their head as they watched this performance.
Wait, you watched it at home though, so you weren't even around like older family members.
No, right? I was at a bar.
Okay.
And it wasn't filled with that too many people. Most of them were a bit older, but they're kind of just like staring. They weren't like cheering or looking at it and discuss it. They just kind of seemed like they were observing something they just don't really understand, but it's part of the show.
Got it. Yeah, because I watched it at my boy's house, but we were all like same millennial age. Yeah, that would be a great question to ask. Like, I think my dad's gonna call me later, so I have a follow up question for him. But yeah, it was great. It was great, man. It was very enjoyable. It's gonna be a tough one to follow up because again, I think like for this you need good performers, but also phenomenal nostalgia, right? Like, there's a reason all the songs they picked we knew. You know, like Eminem could have played a lot of shit, but he's like, yeah, I'm gonna play 8 Mile. And like everyone is gonna lose their lose yourself, right? Everyone's gonna lose their mind, no pun intended, over this shit. So like that's why I think it's gonna be hard to follow. So yeah, dude. But shout out to the NFL. Shout out to them. But it's fun, like, dude, like even like Snoop, like you were saying about the boomer stuff, like, yeah, it must be weird at times, but bro, like we think dude, Snoop's in every fucking commercial.
Yeah,
like
Snoop.
He's
Snoop
on
is
TV,
like the white
all the time.
Yeah, no, like the white housewife or whatever category you want to box that stereotypical boomer in. Like everyone knows Snoop. I think we were talking about that. Like he is literally the most famous rapper. You could not know a single rap song, but you know Snoop.
Right, and he just came out with a rap album, and I couldn't tell you, you know, any song on it, and it's just like, but America knows Snoop Dogg, bro. Like, you just dude, at some point you have to give credit for just longevity in itself. Like the fact that he's been around for 30 plus years is insane, bro. And the fact, you know, shout out to him, he just bought Death Row Records like a couple of days before the Super Bowl. Like that's a monumental moment, right? And I think he signed to Def Jam, so I'm sure they'll do a cool way to like make that like a long-lasting, you know, relationship. So again, it's a good time in America to be Snoop Dogg right now, because I feel like anything he does, it ends up being a pretty positive thing, bro. Like dude, he's in every single Corona Light commercial. Like you cannot not see him on TV like at least once a day.
Yeah, it's very impressive. And it's also interesting how these different rappers with different images are able to kind of either be shielded from certain controversy or be thrown into it. It's like if you're known for having a cookie cutter image, let's say, and you say some wild shit or do some wild shit, you're immediately seen as a bad guy. Whereas if you're like a Snoop and you say some wild shit, because he definitely does do that from time to time, a lot, always on Instagram. But like people kind of just expect it, like, oh, he's the Crip dude who smokes weed, so like that's just regular Snoop. But if like Jack Harlow or some shit said half the stuff he said, like people will be on that person's ass. So I always find that interesting because he's managed to get to the tip top, like get white America's acceptance and everything, but at the same time he's also like does some pretty wild shit or says some pretty wild shit. So I just think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, dude, but it's also like corny phrase, but I think it's also true. Like, I feel like he also plays the game very well, right? I feel like when he's in those corporate American environments, he never goes across what the line is they already put for him, right? Like, I think even when he did like the Olympics with Kevin Hart, they're like, bro, do whatever you say, but like, please don't say these things. And I think he won't, but like, he'll still say other funny shit. So yeah, I think there's some acts. So like, there's, again, kind of like the whole like Rogan thing, bro. It's like, we'll let you do certain things as long as you're doing it by our rules on our platform. Whereas I think not to make it controversial, but like the Rogan thing is scary for a lot of like these people because like you have no control. He says whatever the fuck he wants, and we can't stop him if he does get out of hand. Like I feel like, again, if someone wanted, like if Corona didn't fuck with Snoop, they're pulling his commercials, and that's the end of that, right? Whereas like with Rogan, like you pull him off Spotify, he'll pop up somewhere else. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the I think the funny thing with this is like they're again, like to your point, dude, think about how many, like the NFL Super Bowl show is the most corporate thing in the world, bro. Mm-hmm. And the fact that like they had people like dude, Snoop been accused of murder, I think so has Dre, dude, Eminem threatening to kill his mother, 50 Cent's been shot fucking 9 times, like bro, and they're like, yeah, you perform, like, you know what I mean, like it's just crazy, dude.
I mean speaking of corporate events or anything corporate, it all boils down to like what the public sentiment towards that person is. Like if tomorrow everyone says they love R. Kelly and he gets out of jail and it's gonna make them $100 million to have him on the stage, they're gonna do it. They're gonna be like, what 15-year-old girl, what are you talking about?
100, it's again, and that the sad thing is why when we were doing all those documentaries on him being R. Kelly, like bro, that all that shit was like very well known amongst people in this like industry, but it wasn't a big deal to the rest of the world, so they didn't have any reason to like speak up, right? So yeah, it's very interesting how this shit works, like what the corporate world and what the public they allow at times. So yeah, dude, shout out to all of them. Again, great look for everyone. And for me, again, I think 50 Cent stole the show. And I'm glad that he's leaning into all the jokes. It's like, you can't get mad, bro. It's just like,
right.
You look weird, but it was dope.
You
bro.
lose if you get mad.
Yeah,
it was dope.
It's like, bro,
and they were funny.
And bro, it really was like for me personally, I didn't think he looked fat. He's like you said, he's always been stocky. But bro, I think unless you have like 2% body fat, which he did when he first filmed in the club, bro, anyone upside down is gonna look a little weird, dog. You know what I mean? Like,
that is true. I know. I was like, why the fuck would he even agree to that shit? Because I'm pretty sure in the music video, they just they flipped the camera around or something. Like, I don't think his ass was literally upside down. He looked like he couldn't breathe.
Yeah, at that point he was 27 years old. Now he's like a fucking 48-year-old man. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But when I saw him, I was also like, shit, I don't know if I want to like get too buff either. If I'm gonna, when I get older, like just lose that definition. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, bro. I feel like he does enough. My thing is like, I remember seeing like really old videos of 50 before he popped. He was also a fat kid that like got in shape, and then I think does enough to never cross that line of like, all right, I'm fat again, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Like, because when I watch him on Power, like he looks like just like a fucking jacked dude. But again, he has clothes on and stuff. But yeah, dude, phenomenal performance. Loved everything about it. But someone who was trying to steal the headlines this weekend was the #1 trending topic on Twitter was your boy, Kanye West. So I guess if someone lived under a rock, Kanye spent the entire Super Bowl weekend just going at Pete Davidson in a multitude of now deleted Instagram posts, calling him a dickhead, that he fucked Hillary Clinton, that he's gonna fuck him up when he sees him in the streets. Like, your thoughts on all of that, bro? Because again, this is like, man, we're going on. When did Donda drop? Was that like fucking October?
September. I think it was like September 3rd or something, like Labor Day, right?
September, October, November, December, January. We're going on 6 months, bro, of this dude just dominating the headlines. So your thought on this latest controversy, which again seems to only be benefiting him because we're still talking about it.
Yeah. For me, honestly, I just find it comical. Like, I haven't really thought too much of it. I think part of me is still conflicted in terms of assessing what's real, what's not, what's just publicity. Are these dudes all just best friends behind the scene at a coffee shop making fun of people like us reacting? I don't know. I'm not gonna be one of those people. Yeah, Kanye's just lurking on our page. I honestly just haven't thought too much of it, only because I feel like this is part of the game. And even if it isn't, I know whatever tension and shit that exists right now, a month from now, we're going to see fucking Cudi and Kanye and Pete fucking eating cotton candy at the fair or some shit.
Like, yeah, dude. Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it.
The reason why Blair said that, if you didn't know over the weekend, I guess Kanye got mad at Cudi publicly because Cudi is visibly still friends with Pete Davidson, right? That's pretty much the gist of it.
Yep. So they're still friends, which just makes all this seem very petty, like high school, and hypocritical in a way, because Kanye's already mended his relationship with Drake, and there's obviously that push attention. So those are the sorts of things where I'm like,
that's a good point.
You're so hypocritical that it has to be fake. This has to be because you're promoting the next Donda album. And I'm like, does he even really give a shit about Pete that much? Like, one day he wants Kim, the next day he doesn't, and he's spotted with like 4 different women. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. So this is my thought, bro. So I'm leaning more towards it's fake. For fake like this, fake that I don't think Kanye actually feels those ways. Now, if it's real that, Pete still takes a certain way and Kim can't tell, maybe that is real. But as far as like Kanye actually being upset about any of this, I don't believe. Like, I truly think like this is to just, whenever Donda drops, to make it another massive drop, right? So another controversy that he sparked over the weekend is that he said that there was footage of a Billie Eilish concert where she stopped her performance to help a fan in the front and then made some reference like Travis Scott. and like apparently that footage does not exist. And she says, all I said was, we got to help this person. So like, and it's like, I demand you, he said, I demand that you apologize, Billy, or I'm not going to perform at Coachella. And I was like, motherfucker, you better perform at Coachella.
I know, you already bought your tickets and everything.
I was like, you better perform. But again, just controversy. But back to the original post. The reason why I don't think this is real from him, I think this is just something to push the envelope to keep all eyes on him, bro. And also, dude, like, so he has the album dropping allegedly next week, right? A week from today. Their new Hulu show, Keeping Up with Kardashian, launches like in a week and a half too. Like, you don't think they're gonna have all this shit in the first like 4 or 5 episodes? Like, this shit just seems very fucking convenient. And then from the Pete Davidson standpoint, like, low-key, I think he might be a part of it. Because, like, bro, besides like being the guy who fucks all the hot women in the industry, what else do you really do? Like, you're an SNL, dude, no one watches SNL. Like, fam, this is not like the 90s, early 2000s, bro. Like, no one watches that shit. Like, you came out with a dope movie 4 years ago. You had a stand-up special 4 years ago. Like, you don't really do shit besides fuck these bitches. So, like, at the end of the day, like, this is making you popular because people are like, yo, who is Pete Davidson? Why is Kanye so, like, this is only helping his overall clout, bro. So I feel like too many people are actually benefiting from this, like, episode, they want to say, which I just think is just Kanye being, like, the Kardashians just knowing, dude, if we keep pushing this envelope, dude, he was the number one, dude, 50 million people watched the Super Bowl, and leading up to it, there were more people focused on what is he about to post next. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And it was all back to back. That was the first time I had seen him that actively engaged on Instagram. Like, it's just back to back memes. And they were funny.
He started, like, screenshotting people comments. Like, It's like, oh, thank you for supporting me. It's like, bro, it's a fucking random dude. Like, why do you care?
Yeah, that's what makes it so funny too, is he's operating the Instagram like he's 58. And I saw someone in the comments, they were like, yo, learn how to crop. Because I don't know if you noticed, but this motherfucker had the likes and the likes from the screenshot and then the actual likes. And I'm like, what am I looking at?
48. Like, he's not that far off. Like, that's the thing. Like, at times, like, when he acts like this, you don't act like a fashion icon that I want to aspire to be. You know what I mean? Because, like, the way the Yeezy brand is, like, that's just, like, aspirational, bro. Like, you cop some Yeezys or some, you know, Balenciaga shit from, like that shit is fire, dog. Like, you're gonna, like, but, like, now you're just wearing this shit of the guy who can't even fucking properly, like, crop a picture. Like, that's fucking odd, bro. And, like, aren't you meant to be, like, this, like, billionaire genius? And, like, what are you doing? Like, why are your shit all caps? Like, what's going on right now, bro?
Right. I don't know. I think in general, I know a lot of people, and I've seen online, a lot of people are like, oh, Kanye's crazy and off the rails again and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like deep down, most people love it. They love this Kanye. He just says whatever the fuck he wants, calls anyone out, especially when it, like, we know it's not that deep. Like, I'm sure he and Cudi are going to be fine in like a week.
Yeah. The thing is, like, the fact that Cudi, I know, it felt for a moment, I don't know, obviously, excuse me, but it felt like the Cudi part hit him hard. Because he was like, yo, like, what the fuck's happening right now, bro? Like it just felt genuine from Cudi's side, at least. Like, again, he could be a great actor. You know, he is an actor at times. But, but it just felt from him, like, he felt like, kind of like when Big Sean was on Drink Champs, like, blindsided. Like, bro, what the fuck am I being dragged into this shit for right now?
But then, like, Cudi called him a dinosaur and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
As if he really thought that about Kanye, knowing damn well Kanye, like, is one of the greatest artists of our greatest artists of our generation. So, like, little slick shit like that is what made me wonder if any of this
is just, like,
real.
Trolling each other, and, like, it's all like a fucking fun roast and a joke kind of a thing.
Yeah. It's like, what if, like, Cudi was like, oh, your music's awful anyways or something. Like, that's basically what I felt like I was reading. I'm like, I know you don't believe any of this shit.
Yeah, for sure. So now that we're a week away, do you think Donda's dropping on Tuesday?
On Tuesday? Shit. If I had to put money on it, let's put it that way, I would say no.
Same, dude. So what I think is happening is that they're gonna obviously do a live stream again to the listening party. So I think it's gonna be like the hype is gonna be to get everyone to tune in or go to the show. But I don't think the album's gonna actually drop on 2/2/2. Like, I don't think so. I think Donda 2 will just be the listening event. I don't think there's gonna be an actual physical or whatever, like an actual tangible thing to listen to. Like, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Same. Especially when he knows he can like continue to thrive off this publicity.
Yeah, he didn't drop it. He might drop it, on 333, like whatever the fucking thing is. Yeah. But you know what's not sucks, but so when they announced it's in Miami, I'm like, let's fucking, I'm out there. But it's the same night as the Amine concert. I'm like, bro, I'm not skipping this shit. Like, fuck that. Like, I'm going to the Amine show. So
the Donda experience is in Miami?
Yeah, the Donda experience is in Miami.
Oh,
so
wow.
Like, literally like 40 minutes away from me. Tickets are not even that expensive right now, so I could easily just cop one. But like I've been dying to see Amine, like only Amine for a minute now, so I'm not gonna fuck that up. But
shit. Well, you might be lucky. Maybe all the Amine fans will ditch that, and you just end up front row.
It's just me and Amine just chilling like, yo, what else you got?
Just fucking playing this shit on Spotify with
play Caroline one more time. He's like, yo, it's been 5. I'm like, play it again, motherfucker. Just me. But yeah, dude, shout out to Kanye, bro. Again, we'll see what's real or what's fake. I mean, again, I think the like, remember those like shows back in the day on VH1, like the behind the music kind of the shit. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, like whenever they come out with a version of that for Kanye's life, it's gonna be wild. Like, wild. Yeah. And I know we're gonna get a version of that with the whole Netflix thing, Jesus or whatever, but that's still too close. I'm waiting for this shit. Like when we're in our 40s and shit, like, and he's hopefully like less like that he is now.
Yep.
But
that'll be exciting to watch.
Yeah, shout out to him. Again, overall, I think the fans are winning. But just a weird thing at times. But I did want to bring up something you put on the rundown. So talk about New York banning drill music, because actually this ties into Kanye again for me. But what do you want to talk about?
Yeah. And just so I don't like misquote what's going on, I don't know if they're necessarily actually planning to ban it. I think they were just, at least the mayor, correct, was discussing whether or not it's contributing to crime and like ways they can kind of solve this issue that the music is causing. I don't know if they're outright hoping to ban it from the radio or anything, but in general, regardless, I think, and people in hip hop have been talking about this stuff for the longest time, but I think we need to have a real honest conversation. And the only people that can really change anything are the people making this music and the powers that be, about the music that's being created and the violence and crime that a lot of times it does glorify. Now, I know that a lot of these artists are merely telling their story and things like that, but with drill specifically, at least from what I see on these, when they interview on these outlets and everything, it really does stir real life beef. And it's not like video games or movies. It's not that argument of, well, video games and movies don't cause violence. And that's because those art forms aren't, like, everyone knows they're fake. Like, you're not going to play, Call of Duty and then go outside and start fucking throwing grenades at people unless you're a straight up psychopath.
Right.
But the thing with this music is they're literally calling out people like, oh, I shot your mans, like taunting them, saying like, where you at? Send the addy, all kinds of stuff that really does escalate these beefs, especially if the song blows up and it's like a poppin' song, just like with the Tuka thing. Everyone's saying smoke Tuka. Kids who've never been to Chicago, don't even know what Tuka is, are saying it. And I'm sure gang members from the opposing side who hear that shit, it just infuriates them and makes them want to kill anyone who is the cause of that. So I feel like in this community, we're just like dishonest about the negative dark side of hip hop because it sounds good and it's fun, especially if you're not involved in it.
Yeah, dude, I agree with that. But it's almost that time like the whole like chicken and the egg like argument, like which came first, right? Like it's like they're rapping about this shit because they grew up in the worst fucking areas. So like if we clean up the areas, is like that gonna go away? I don't know. And what's wild though, as we get older and then maybe we become the boomers, like I've honestly, you tell me how you felt. like I've seen like my preference go away from like the violent music, right? Like that's why like the Amines, the Kanyes, the Drakes, the Baby Keems, like that's the shit that literally grabs my attention. Like I can listen to Selection Radio for 15 hours straight. Now one person's killed on a track, right? It's all like beautiful ballads, great lyrics about living life, right? So it's funny how like when we're kids, like this shit's fun because it's like, oh, like it's like it has to be fake, right? And then you get older, like, no, these people are actually like killing each other over this, and like, why is everyone dying? Like, I don't listen to this shit anymore. Right? Yeah, we listen to it. I'm not like, there's songs that I fucking enjoy, I'm sure, but like the day-to-day shit, it's not like even Gunna. Like, I don't really think anyone's dying on Gunna songs. Like, it's about him looking fucking amazing and getting girls. Like that's pretty much all it's about.
Yeah, he's being dripped up and dripped out.
Yeah. So even like that. So, I mean, again, he's probably the biggest rapper out right now, to be perfectly honest. So, I mean, I guess there's something to be said. Like, maybe the biggest guys out aren't talking about killing. But, I mean, then we have a Nardo, was it Nardo Wick?
Nardo Wick, yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, Lil Durk, who's massive right now, and he's talking about... So, again, it is, like, there are some people like that, but I don't know. I feel better about the state of hip-hop that it's not, like, the top guys aren't doing that, bro. Like literally the top guys in hip-hop right now, Kanye and Drake, like, they're not talking about killing anyone in a fucking song. Like, it's just, like, about their life and experiences.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And I think the vast majority of artists that are getting a platform aren't straight up talking about killing. So definitely don't want to make it sound like we're knocking the genre or that people should be banned from performing. But I think sometimes it's a little unnerving. Like I was watching the Rolling Loud live. I think it was in Miami, not like physically there, but on TV.
Yeah.
And they were interviewing some drill artists, and like they just looked like they didn't want to be there. They couldn't explain like what they liked about the music. Like it just felt very like they were, let me exploit the shit out of this for money and get clout and like be out. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to fuck hip hop. Like, unless it's making me money directly. Like, I just got this sense of they didn't care about the culture. And I know like when it comes to white artists, like a lot of people in the industry have a tendency to jump on them. Like, oh, you're not about the culture. But what about some of these dudes who are like literally in it for the money and perpetuating XYZ, but like that's where the story ends. They're not, they don't care about the craft or whatever the case is. And again, like if they're more power to them, if they're out the hood and stuff. But the problem I see is they're not out the hood. They're like financing, negative shit probably, and like don't want to evolve and don't want to do this. And I know that takes time too, because a lot of these dudes are like 16. So I don't want to put too much pressure or responsibility on them in the sense of, oh, they need to figure this shit out right away. But I just hope and wish that there was like more OGs in the industry to like steer these dudes in the right direction, so that it didn't always end up in another episode of us being like, man, like this dude was on his way, and if only he had security and wasn't here and there. Like, I think those stories for us have just gotten so old. I'm just like, dude, isn't it obvious? Like, hey, like something needs to change.
Which is why I think the take by the mayor of New York wasn't a wild take. Like, I think the headline must have been like, yo, what are you talking about? It's not, don't blame hip hop. It's like, well, bro, like we gotta, I mean, I'm not saying it's hip hop's fault, but I can see why he's like, should we not? Yeah, again, I can see why he would say something like that, because bro, like you're propelling this type of environment, and then kids who may have an option of going left or right are choosing your path because you're making it seem like the best thing in the world. So I can see it, bro. So yeah, it's not a wild take at all. But something I did want to bring up, bro, because it's not in my heat of the week, but last week, Kanye, 5 Foreign, and Alicia Keys dropped the song City of Gods, which is a dope song. It's almost like an Empire State, like Jay-Z, Alicia Keys Part 2. The song's fine, dude. Like, and I actually enjoyed Kanye on it, like production-wise and lyrics. But bro, well, the funny thing is when you put that on the rundown about banning drill music, I was thinking during this song, Bro, at some point, is anyone gonna say all these fucking beats sound the fucking same? Like this shit's like, I get it, bro. Like, it's a type of music. I understand that. But like, dude, all dance hall beats aren't the same. You know what I mean? Like, dude, all these drill beats are the fucking same, bro. Like, so I want to ban it just for that. I'm like, yo, where's the creativity, dog? Because this shit is getting so repetitive, which is why I think we all love Pop Smoke's first album, because like, it didn't just sound like the same shit, like for 28 songs. You know what I mean? It was like different variations of him on different beats. So I don't know, bro. I don't know how you felt when you heard the track, but I was like, all right, this is fun. And this is like dope to hear these 3 different voices. But bro, these beats, dog, like if you had a thing, like, like on like a machine, like a music machine, and you just play like 14 different drill beats, man, there'll be minimal variations.
I mean, that's kind of how I feel about reggaeton, to be honest. I think it's because the core like drum pattern or whatever is always the same, kind of like reggaeton, but then the background melodies, like the samples and shit, those always tend to be different. But like, as someone who isn't, I do like reggaeton, I'm just not a fan. Like, I don't seek it out or like go to concerts and stuff. But so I think to someone like me, I'm like, damn, this shit sounds the same. Like, I remember the first time I went to Colombia, out like by day 3, I'm like, I do not want to hear one more fucking reggaeton song. Otherwise, I'm flying home. But to someone who's like a fan, like Danny, for instance, like he could listen to that shit for like a month straight and sense the differences in the beat. So I guess it is partially a matter of preference too.
It might be. Again, I love drill music, bro. Again, I love 5-Yo. I love all those guys. But fuck, dude, I heard this song and I was like, yo, this is the same. Like, it's almost like they had like the same drill sample and just throw it on and like change it. Like you said, like change the stuff around it and make it slightly different. But I was like, bro, like, we've heard this song before. Like, okay, you're talking about New York this time, but like, I've heard this beat, dog. Like, I don't know. For me, I was just like, so when I saw your rundown thing of like banning drum, like, yeah, dude, ban it, bro, because I'm over this shit. Like, it's the same shit over and over.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, so like you said, I definitely do like the music. I just sometimes when I hear the whole egg chicken argument, like, well, you need to change the environment to do this, I feel like for those who do want an excuse, not saying everyone makes an excuse, but for those who do want an excuse, are kind of like, all right, well, like, this is just the way I was raised. Like, I don't have to do anything. Like, the government needs to switch things up. I think it has to be like a joint effort. Like, I think they should be encouraged to change the message, but we also need to figure out a way to fix their environment in ways or give them opportunities so that they don't feel like doing drills is the only way to be entertained. But what bothers me is even when they do have the money to like get out and get away, they still want to hang out in the hood and like do the same shit they were doing, but with more money. And I'm just like, well, so you're saying you didn't have the opportunity, but now you got it and you still want to fucking do drills? Like, how does this make any sense?
Yeah, dude, I agree. And then also, there's probably a third component that we've mentioned before in episodes. Like, dude, we have a responsibility as fucking consumers and listeners. Like, bro, like, if you're so offended by this, stop listening. And trust me, they will change the content. Like, bro, they will change the content the moment you say, bro, I am not consuming this anymore. But we're not, bro. That's the sad part. Like, we can get all up in arms and like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. To go on like, you know, these guys doing drugs and shit. Like, how can, you know, blah, blah, blah. But dude, we still consume that shit. And dude, last I checked, I think Lucid Dreams just went diamond. You know what I mean? Like, people are still obsessed with that kind of music. So, you know, it's really like on us too, bro. Because I'm telling you, the moment we say this is not good enough for us, we're not going to consume, and we actually stop consuming it, they will change the fucking message, bro. Like, the same thing I've seen in sports, bro. Like, when people say this is getting boring, dude, that league will figure out a way to make it entertaining, dude. Like, when those, like, back in the 90s, bro, this is like a pivot on basketball, but back in the 90s, no game ever reached 100 points because, like, the rules are set up that did not happen. After time, bro, that got boring and hard to watch. Dude, now people are scoring 100 points by the third quarter, bro. Like games are really like 130 to 120 on a nightly basis, bro, because the consumer really holds the power. So I really think it's going to be on us, man. For us, it's like, yo, I'm tired of you guys killing yourselves. I can't let my kids listen to this shit anymore. And I won't let my kids go to your concerts anymore. So when you want us to come and spend millions, change your fucking content. And I will gladly send my kid to one of your shows. So I think it's really going to be on us, bro.
That's a good point. Yeah. As I was thinking about this topic, I was thinking to my own playlist. So I'm like, I have several violent songs on there. For me, obviously, that I'm not going to go outside and do anything crazy because I'm listening to it. But in my head, I was like, I should remove them then if I feel that way.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that because it sounds good. Like it makes the party feel good.
Yeah, after like 5 times, you're like, yo, where the fuck is that song?
Yeah, it's easier said than done.
100%, bro. But yeah, at some point, something's gonna have to crack, bro, because dude, we can't keep losing rappers every fucking month. And like, again, if it's not a mayor, it has to be someone. But time will tell. Dude, anything else? I mean, we kind of mentioned the Kodak Black. So no one knows Kodak Black was in a fight at a Justin Bieber after party after Bieber performed during Super Bowl weekend. Kodak was shot in the leg. He's gonna be fine. Anything you want to add to that, bro? Because that's pretty much all it was. Like,
no, it's funny because I when I first heard the story, I'm like, what can I add to this? But I watched Academics and he gave a really good take of the whole thing. I think what this event really showed me is one, LA is fucking insane. For those who don't know, this actually took place. That's what I wanted
to ask you about, bro. Like, because like people were saying about like I think it was during Rolling Loud or like, yo, don't come to LA right now. Shit's fucking crazy. So like, you obviously have all your families there. So what was the feedback from the people actually there?
Right. I mean, when I saw that tweet or whatever from Ice-T, at first I thought it was just some like macho shit that like every person from LA says to make them feel like they're, you know, the city of gangbanging and like hardcore people. But it really is wild for some reason. And for context, like my first job out of college was in that building where the shooting took place, and that's actually in West Hollywood, and West Hollywood is literally one of the gayest, and that's not like a knock. That's
but that's where you and I hung out. Like my first trip down there.
Yeah, sir. What was that place?
We were bouncing around bars in West Hollywood because we felt first safe. Right.
Yeah.
And it was very luxurious bars and restaurant that we wanted to check out. Like, it's a very high income area.
Yep. High income area. The building I was in is called the Pacific Design Center. So I worked for an agency inside that building, and I don't know how much the building's worth or whatever, but if you've seen it, that shit is expensive as fuck. And the area is where like all the celebrities and everything hang out, hence probably why they were in that area in the first place after that performance. And a shooting broke out, and that West Hollywood is pretty close to Melrose, where all the other looting and robberies and shit take place. And prior to the pandemic, this whole area was very hip. It's where like all the streetwear fanatics and shit would hang out and buy expensive ass Supreme type stuff. And it's just wild to know that like I literally worked where this shit took place, because I never felt like my life was threatened when I was going home.
Sure, yeah.
But if you've seen the footage, I think what it just really shows me is that like you can't get in a fight with anybody nowadays. Doesn't matter if it's a fist fight, because half these dudes will shoot and you can't even tell that they're like hardcore gangsters, probably because a lot of them aren't. They're just dudes with guns. But it's just wild that you could literally get shot and potentially killed anywhere in LA over the simplest robbery or scuffle or whatever the case is. And thank God Kodak is fine, but that could have ended a lot more horribly. Salute to him for defending his homie. I don't think he ever thought it was going to end up in a shooting.
No.
But yeah,
but to your point, you really never know, bro. Like, for example, like, dude, people in Florida, I mean, I feel like everyone says it in their city. Like, people in Florida drive like fucking idiots, bro. And there's been plenty of time where I want to be like, yo, like pull up next to someone and be like, yo, what the fuck are you? But like, everyone here I know is strapped. Like, I know in LA, the laws are way harder. So whoever they catch doing the shooting is fucked, because I know you can't really have a concealed weapon in LA, right? That's accurate? Right. So in Florida, you can. So I know people are strapped here. So dude, like when everyone's honking at me or they want to get around me, I'm just like, bro, like do you, fam? Because I'm trying to get to my destination and they can take me an hour. Like, I don't give a fuck, bro. So yeah, dude, because you just never know, bro. You catch someone the wrong day, they fucking stop your car, pull you out, and just, they want you to try to touch them so you can fucking, they can shoot you. But dude, do you think this is going to make Bieber be a little bit more like further away from this like hip hop shit that's at times he's like fully immersed in, but like he must be like, I don't know if I want to go this far. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to have everyone on my guest list.
I don't know if I'd necessarily say that, just because in this instance, it didn't seem like Kodak or any of his boys were like instigating. It just seemed like, for whatever reason, like these hoodlums wanted to fuck with him. I think it's more of like a hood thing. Like,
sure,
any of these rappers come to LA and they have like a hood reputation. Like, for some reason, these motherfuckers with nothing to live for want to test them. I don't see anyone trying to test Bieber or Post Malone or something. I mean, granted, it could happen, but I feel like they're not really earning stripes for that shit, so they just don't have a tendency to want to do it. Whereas with like a Kodak or like Uzi Vert or something, these dudes are gonna unfortunately project their own hate for themselves and be like, yo, give me your chain, or like check in, or whatever the fuck they were trying to do.
Yeah, but so I think Flagrant 2 had this take. They were saying that there was rumors, again, where these things start, who knows, but that the shooting could have been Nipsey related, for those comments that Kodak made after Nipsey died.
Oh, the Laura London thing?
Yeah.
I doubt it. I mean, first of all, the dudes who did the shooting, or the dude who did the shooting, was like dressed in off-white. He looked like just kind of one of those wannabe dudes who like just wants to be street, or maybe is street, because I know like nowadays, like it's not the stereotypical, oh, you're all bandanaed up from head to toe and shit.
Right.
But it just seemed like some typical ghetto shit where some dude like was in the wrong place at the wrong time and wanted to, or the right place and the right time for him, and wanted to fuck with some celebrities. I don't know if that Nipsey comment cuts that deep after this amount of time to the point.
3 years. Like you would think like Kodak's probably been in LA at some point in the last 3 years, right? Because like unfortunately on April 1st, March 30th, like it'll be 3 years since Nipsey died. So that's so you would think he's already been there at some point since then. Yeah.
So who knows? But I don't know. My personal opinion is it's probably not over Nipsey. I think given the climate in LA, like there's just so much looting and robbing and shit going on that.
Yeah, dude, because some of the videos are wild. Like it's like people getting robbed like at fucking brunch. It's like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
Yeah, it's wild. I think honestly, I feel like the whole mask mandate has contributed to it, and no public official's ever gonna say that shit. But if you can walk somewhere with a ski mask and like not be suspicious, you're gonna try to do all kinds of shit.
Dude, Kanye was in a ski mask at the Super Bowl. Like, and that was like
you couldn't
normal.
See a fucking inch of skin on his face.
Yeah, dude, that was normal. So yeah, which is funny enough that they're dropping all the mask mandates nationwide, like pretty much on a daily basis now. So yeah, I wonder if the two are aligned at all. But yeah, man, crazy week in the news. But before we get out of here, let's get into some heat of the week, episode 100. What was a banger that you were like, oh, this is the one?
Banger. So this coincidentally as an artist who made headlines for getting outed or whatever, but this song is called Left Hand by Reason.
Okay.
It's not a new song, but I just was going through his catalog, and the beat switch up halfway through is just absolutely fire. Fell in love with that song. What's up?
It's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. I played that song probably like 10 to 15 times this weekend. Isaiah Rashad is who I was referring to. He's on it, as well as this artist called Sakari. Yeah. And I was just thinking about TDE that weekend, so I just went through their catalog, and that song is super fire. It's called Left Hand by Reason.
All right, I'll add that to the Apple Music playlist for sure. Dude, for me, man, what should I go with, bro? There was like, I didn't really listen to a lot because I was still like really caught up. Like, I know whenever I get bored at the gym and I really can't find anything to play, I just inevitably go back to Gunna. I'm just like, yo, like, just shuffle everything Gunna on my phone, bro.
Nice.
So I will give Gunna another fucking song right now that he just dropped with, I think it was produced by Metro Boomin for Valentine's Day, called Banking on Me. Dude, fun Gunna track, bro. Gunna's like in a really dope mode right now. I feel like everything is just hitting hard. Again, he has like that, not 50 Cent flow, but that 50 Cent approach when 50 was like at his top, that it just sounded like he wasn't even trying. You know what I mean? Like everything he said was just fire. You're like, yo, I need a 50 feature. Like, bro, I remember there was like almost like Lil Wayne. He had that. These guys have their time in the world where it's just like anything they're doing is just, yo, that's what we need on our track. So I think Gunna's in that zone right now. So if you want just to add another Gunna song to your playlist, Banking on Me. Yeah, and it's not like a love song, but like, yeah, it's just about a girl who he's saying like, yo, I got you if you trust me and stuff. So again, Metro Booming on the beat, fucking phenomenally done. So definitely a fun track.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. Always love some Gunna.
Dude, yeah, dude, it's so good, bro. Like, dude, that's how you know Drip season, whatever one, 3, the one we had the review that we were like, this is trash. That one had to be really bad, bro, because everything else we've listened to from Gunna is just phenomenal. So like, again, not everyone has a perfect catalog, so that maybe was the one time he fucked up. Because, bro, I went back to some old Gunna shit. I was like, God damn, this motherfucker's nice. So, again, I was just telling my boys when we were out like 2 weeks ago, bro. Like, I really think like he really is like, I think he's the biggest hip hop artist like today, like right now. Like, I think. Like, number-wise, like, dude, think about it, bro. He dropped the same week as The Weeknd and, like, doubled his sales. Like, that's
fucking
crazy.
Impressive.
Like, we didn't really talk about because we had other shit going on at the time, but that's fucking nuts, dude. So, salute to him, bro, because I think anything he's doing right now is just fucking phenomenal.
It's interesting that anytime this kind of stuff happens, like, I always see stories about, how blah, blah, blah finesse the numbers. And it seems like they're almost implying it's impossible for any artist to reach these heights without paying for streams, paying for this and that. And I'm just like, in any case, like, it's so impressive you made it happen. Like, I don't know what you finessed, but either way, it's a huge milestone.
Yeah, but even the people who say it finesse is like, yo, but did you also like listen to the songs? Because they slap,
right,
bro. Like, like,
that
these
too.
songs fucking slap. So like, I don't know, like it could have been just me listening to 1,000,000 times. Like, I don't know what it is.
Right. I know, that's when I like tend to not care. It's like, well, this song's fucking amazing, so who gives a fuck like how I found it? If you paid $100 million for me to hear this shit, thank you. Like,
yeah,
the song's dope.
Money well spent, bro. I'm adding it to my playlist. Dude, so let the people know then where to catch it. I think honestly this might be our last episode before the wedding. It kind of makes sense because we have an interview like right after the wedding, so obviously get excited for that. So yeah, let the people know where to find us, the pod, the merch, and let's get out of here, bro.
Yes, sir. New episode every week. Catch us at www.audio-theory.com. We're on all major platforms, so just head on over to there if you want to watch us on YouTube, hear us on Apple Podcasts, whatever the case is. We also have the Heat of the Week, Spotify and Apple Music playlist links on there as well. And the merch that we're both rocking right now, super comfortable, as we mentioned earlier. So go get you some. And then other than that, we have some interviews lined up. So looking forward to continuing that. A lot of strong talent that we'll have on the show. And if you're listening and you're not one of those people that already checked in with us, feel free to submit your music, email audiotheorymedia@gmail.com, or just DM us on Instagram @audiotheory.
100%. Yeah, but it makes sense. Yeah, this probably be the last episode before the wedding. But yeah, we'll come back stronger than ever. Obviously, full wedding recap. So no detail will be spared. So yeah, man, I'm excited. Great. The next time I see you, we'll be at the wedding, brother. So be safe traveling, and see you in a couple weeks.
Appreciate you. Love you too.
Peace.